Shana Tova, everyone. A long time ago, in a community not too dissimilar to ours, it was time to renovate the sanctuary. The work began with architects and was built by craftsmen working for days on end. Materials were shipped in and there was a constant racket as they worked. After this went on for week after week, everyone began to wonder what the new sanctuary would look like. Would it have a ner tamid above the bima? Would the seats be in rows or in the round, the bima high or low? Would it be like the famed synagogue in Athens, Georgia that just finished a renovation, with good air conditioning, a large window looking outside to a beautiful garden, and a glorious ark? The congregants could hardly wait to see what was being built. Well, finally, after several months, the announcement went out. It was complete. When the people came and looked around, they marveled at its beauty. The ark was inlaid with gold, there was a huge menorah glistening, and there were stained glass windows bursting with color. But when the sun began to set, there was a bit of a problem because the sanctuary grew quite dark. Someone asked incredulously, "Where are the lamps?" Well, the rabbi gave each family a small lantern and said, "Whenever you come here, whenever you enter this holy space, I want you to bring your lamp and light it. And when you're not here," the rabbi said, "a part of the synagogue will be dark." And so this lamp reminds you that whenever you are absent, some part of God's house will be dark, and that your community is relying on you. In this story, not unlike our own renovation, each family must contribute, and each depends on the other. It's not just up to the board or the big machers or the longtime members, it's everyone. Similarly, when we confess our sins on this day of Yom Kippur, we confess them communally. The idea is that whereas you may have not committed any one particular sin or mistake, we have. The community is responsible even if the individual did not perform the action. 10 Jews, as we know, praying by themselves doesn't really mean that much. But when 10 Jews pray together, it makes up a minyan, a community. And so metaphorically speaking, if just one of us doesn't bring our lamp, the community cannot see. On this night of Kol Nidrei, which is all about our vows and commitments, this is the vow we must make, that we are each responsible. For ourselves, of course, and that cannot be forgotten, but also for one another. The year that lies ahead of us seems riddled with problems that are so complicated and big that it seems that we might not be able to do anything. But as Jews, we know better. Recently, I found inspiration from a famous Israeli novelist and activist, Amos Oz. I'm paraphrasing his words that he said in a telephone interview. "I believe that if one person is watching something bad happening, there are always 3 principal options that one can do. Option 1, run away. Go as far away and as fast as you can, protecting yourself and your family. The second option is you can write a very angry letter to the editor of your paper, demanding that the responsible people be removed from office, or participate in a protest or demonstration. And the third option, in his example, he uses a fire as the calamity. Bring a bucket of water and throw it on the fire. And if you don't have a bucket, bring a glass. And if you don't have a glass, use a teaspoon. I mean, everyone has a teaspoon. And yes, I know that the teaspoon is little and that the fire is huge, but there are millions of us, and each of us has a teaspoon. The Talmud commands us, you are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Going back one more time to our fabled renovated sanctuary, you can't create the necessary illumination, but yet you must bring your lantern. And when you and you and you bring your lanterns, there's a transformation into that minyan, into that community, into us. We are obligated to continue the work. James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Each of us faces our lives and the world with the limited resources that we have. The limited resources like a teaspoon and a lantern. Here are 3 practical examples. You can't pick the president, but you should, and I would say must, vote. You can't solve homelessness, but you can support a shelter or homeless advocacy group. You can't cure disease, but you can bring comfort to anyone who is ill. This year, let us make these kinds of vows to do our part. You do yours, and I will do mine. And together, we will have a community that is lit by the blessings of faith, Torah, and the actions of Kol Nidrei, all of these vows. L'Shana Tova, and have a meaningful fast.